Some companies have a Cyber Monday sale, but here at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we have a Cyber Week sale. With our Cyber Week special, you can spend less than $100 per month for the next 6 months, and you will get every play your favorite handicapper releases. Let's suppose you already signed up for a subscription. In that case, this will add an additional 180 days and extend any current package you have. No one deserves a gift more than you, so why not treat yourself to the best gift of all and get 1, 2, or even 3 cappers for only $599 each. This offer expires Sunday, December the 6th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Time.
Welcome to Wager Talk Today. Teddy covers Lawrence Presman. We're excited to do this show. Last one of the week. It's been a fun week, Teddy. All about your new house, which again, congratulations. Big show today. Andy Lang joining us. I love this guy. He is the host of Prop It Up. He's actually a super cool dude. Like, I know a lot of people, they look at us handicappers and they think we're old. We've lost our cool. Andy is not one of those people. Chris Andrews, dude, it is going to be an absolute privilege to have him on the show. We're going to talk a ton to Chris Andrews about his career, his book. We're going to look at a lot of the games in the NFL and college football and where the money is going. And then Ralph Michaels at the end of the show. But our lead story, Teddy, our college hoops show. We got a college starting on Monday. Not only that, we're rolling out a new Puck Time. Andrew McGinnis will be the host of Puck Time. I am stepping down from my duties, concentrating on Wager Talk Today. We got our NBA show coming. We have a whole schedule soon to be released. Where do you fit in, Teddy Covers?
So let me get this straight. I could have gotten a new co-host and then you'd have gone to Puck Time, or instead I get you here every day and they get another host for Puck Time. Did I get a vote in that?
Okay, so there's another way to look at this, Teddy. I could have gotten a new co-host, but I wanted to remain working with you. Everybody knows, all our listeners, they know that the love that I have for you is a lot stronger than the love you had for me. Yeah. Prez got fired from Puck Time. He fired himself. That is for sure. I want to welcome everybody in. Some shout outs. Nicholas Waltering. Where are you from with the way you spell that name? Nice to have you. I haven't seen you in here before. Armando Sanchez, Mike Campbell, West Moneyline, Kip, back Dr. FUK. I don't know if YouTube allows me to say that. Our Cairo friend, John, a new name, Guitar Rat, Rob, Big Daddy. We love having you guys all. Thank you all so much. Make sure to hit that like button. We need it. Make sure when the show is archived, you make a comment. I know a lot of you guys are doing it. It's greatly appreciated, more from me than from Teddy, but we already know I have more love that emanates from me than you, Teddy. Should we get on with it? Should we bring Andy Lang in?
For the love of God, yes. But what was the lead again? When is the new show starting and what time and how many days is it? Because I thought that was the point of the intro.
Yeah. So, Joe, talk in my ear. It starts on Monday, 2 o'clock Eastern, every day, except I'm guessing Saturday and Sundays. Andy Lang, dude, it's so good to have a guy as cool as you on our show. You bring our average age down by at least 10. So thank you for being here, man. What is going on? I haven't hung out with you in a while, man. What's going on with you?
Oh, we're doing Prop It Up Fridays at 4 o'clock. Came off a huge NASCAR season, hit 68% of our head-to-heads, finished up golf season, And December 22nd, we're going to tackle NBA player props. I do have to say, if you want to double the amount of listeners, you need to go live for the first 10 minutes pre-show and let everyone behind the scenes and listen to you guys go on and on and on, because that is the most entertaining part of my day so far.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that. I mean, people who watch the show talk about how Teddy and I argue with each other all the time. They don't know anything, Andy.
You haven't seen anything. You've seen nothing.
Oh, I mean, the swearing and, oh my God. Yeah. And even during the break, Andy, our breaks are like 24 seconds long. They're literally spent in Teddy yelling at each other.
Yeah, it's off air is very comparable to on air. We're not putting on an act when we when the camera when the camera clicks go.
That is for sure. Andy, we got to get right to it. We've got a jam-packed show. You're one of our prop experts. You guys can find Andy Lang at WagerTalk.com. He's the host of Prop It Up, which is at 4 p.m. Eastern today. Awesome show, Andy, and the viewership is going up, 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 up. You had thousands of views last week, so really well done. I mean, you've just been such a great addition to the team. With all that said, we need some actionable information. That's the key word on this show. And I know you've got a bunch of props for us. Let's start with TJ Hawkinson, tight end for the Detroit Lions. What should we bet with him?
Okay, for TJ Hawkinson, he's averaged 4.6 receptions per game last 6 games. Bigger thing for me is 7.1 targets. So if you're looking at player props, if you can get a number around 6 or 6.5 targets for Hawkinson, I'd look to take that over. If you can get a prop for 4 to 4.5 receptions, I'd look to take that over. The Bears have given up 88 targets and 62 receptions to tight ends this year. Both of those are bottom 6 in the league this year. When they get behind or they're in a close game, they like to dump it off to Hawkinson. So I'd look at TJ Hawkinson over some of his reception props.
So let's talk a little Wayne Gallman here, because certainly Gallman, a guy who wasn't expected to be a factor for anything this year. And in fact, he has been quite a factor. What do you like for Wayne Gallman this weekend?
Well, this is the beautiful thing about props, is you can find value in just some very obscure places. Touchdown prop that has hit 5 weeks in a row. Wayne Gallman to score a touchdown. He's scored 6 rushing touchdowns in his last 5 games. Seattle has allowed at least 1 rushing touchdown in 10 out of 11 games this season. The only game they didn't allow a rushing TD was last week against the reeling Eagles. Wayne Gallman, believe it or not, is tied for 10th in total touchdowns in the NFL. Amazing.
Eddie James Robinson, you've got a prop for us on him. Let's get to it. You're rolling, dude. I love how tight and short to the point your analysis is. You could
learn
with Teddy.
Okay,
here's an you're going to come on the show and start with me.
Have you ever taken a journalism class or anything?
They have classes on journalism.
Let's get to James Robinson. This is a lesson in the rushing and receiving prop. So you can bet on guys on their rushing or their receiving, or rushing and receiving. James Robinson has gone over his combined rushing and receiving 5 weeks in a row, and it's important because he's had 4 more catches in 6 games this year. He's hit this prop 9 times. However, 4 of those games, he would not have hit his rushing total. So if you would have bet James Robinson rushing, you would have lost. But if you would have bet rushing and receiving, you would have won. So with Robinson, you need to take the combo of rushing and receiving. The Jags are playing the Vikings. Last week, Mike Davis got over this total. The week before, Zeke got over this total. And just because the Jags are terrible doesn't mean there's value in them somehow. So that's a way that you can make money off of a bad team.
So I want to ask you this, a follow-up question on James Robinson, because last week with Glennon at QB, Robinson wasn't as much a receiving threat, but he got a whole bunch of handoffs, and he went over his rushing yards by a pretty big margin. Would you look perhaps this week at the rushing element of that as opposed to the rushing receiving, both because of the QB change in Jacksonville?
No, I wouldn't. The Vikings give up yards rushing, and when the Jags get down, they dump the ball off to Robinson. The line's telling you that the bookmakers like the Vikings to be ahead, so I look for some dump offs, maybe at the end of the second half, maybe at the end of the game to get them over. And every time I think, well, James Robinson rushing, he gets those receiving yards, and they're just so valuable. All you need is for him to break 10 to 15 yards, and it's just a huge help to get over the total.
So you talked about a player prop. You talked about a player prop.
Then I go, then you go, then I go, then you go, then I go.
Right, but I asked him a follow-up question about the last one, so then I would ask the next one. We have them all written out. I just asked a quick follow-up because he was moving so quickly. I was able to do
you have taken your follow-up, ixnays your right for another question. Read the Slack. I'm going to ask him this question.
Go. Knock yourself out. But I already have the question all set up, and I have it set up in my head to ask it correctly.
You know what? Then you ask
and I'm
the
on
question.
Camera. So let's talk about this. You wrote player prop to avoid Kyler Murray over rushing yards. My question to you is, why wouldn't you play Kyler Murray under rushing yards? Go.
Because I don't know his status of his shoulder injury. So Kyler Murray's rushing total, this used to be the no-brainer. Started off the year hitting his rushing total 7 out of 9 games. His shoulder injury limited him to 31 yards and 15 yards the last 2 games. He's rushed for a season low 5 times in each of those games. I just don't know the status of his shoulder. So when you have something that you're a little on the fence about, there's so many player props out there. It's best to save your capital and find some value elsewhere. So I know a lot of people want to take the over on Kyler Murray. I just don't think we're going to get anything definitive on his shoulder injury.
Teddy, I got to tell you, man, I think you would have asked, or you did ask that question better than I asked that question. I'm going to give it a go, though. So, Andy, player props to avoid. Kyler Murray. You know, most people think he's going to go over the total. He's a running quarterback. Why should we not bet over on Kyler Murray props? What do you think, Andy? Which one was better?
Can we move on to the next?
I pay the checks. I signed the checks, Andy. Let's get into team props, brother. Colts and Andy, you've never been on a show with Teddy and I together. I love it. Team props, man. Colts and Texans game. You like the over in the first half. Tell us why.
Well, I think we might be overblowing the Will Fuller injury just a little bit. They've played 11 games. He's only been the leading wide receiver 5 times. Deshaun Watson is a brilliant quarterback. He knows how to move the ball and spread the ball out. The Colts D can struggle without their leaders, and they're missing their lead linebacker again this week. And as we saw last week, they can give up a lot of yards and a lot of points in a hurry without their defensive leaders. They're getting Buckner back, so that will help a little bit. But the Texans just get gashed on the ground. And I looked it up. So if you take out that weird Cleveland-Houston game with the bad weather, Houston's first half has gone over the last 3 games, and the Colts' first half over has gone over the last 3 games. So these 2 teams are moving the ball a lot, but they're also getting the ball moved on them a lot. I see injuries being a big factor on the Colts D, and I see just a bad Houston defense giving up a lot of points early.
So every one of these props that we've talked about so far makes sense to me. The last one does too, but it requires you putting your money on the single worst team in the NFL and asking them to do something with it. Jets, first quarter total over. Tell me why.
It's one of the beautiful artistic things about props is you can figure out how to make money on the worst team in the league. It is the weirdest prop going right now. The Jets have scored in 5 straight first quarters. Last week, they scored 3 points, but those 3 points came in the first quarter. Sometimes you can find this Jets first quarter team total over 0.5 point, maybe 1.5, 2.5. The Raiders give up over 5 points to opposing teams in the first quarter. The last 3 games, they've given up 5.3 points in the first quarter. You have a West Coast team traveling east. Believe it or not, in the prop world, we have figured out a way to make money off the JETS Jets, Jets, Jets.
Andy Lang, everybody. And Andy, you sent some streaks into us last night. 61% in all sports combined this calendar year. I mean,
most of that is NASCAR and golf. Thank you. Yeah, most of that is NASCAR and golf. Player props are doing well, and hopefully we finish off strong with these NFL props. And like I said, we're going to start NBA props December 22nd.
Yeah, guys, I don't know if you guys realize, and Teddy does. I mean, Teddy bets for a living. 61% in a calendar year. I mean, it is just so spectacular. And honestly, Andy, it makes no difference what it's in. I mean, it's just an incredible win percentage. We're lucky to have you at WagerTalk.com. 6-1 in 5% plays in 2020. Why so little 5% plays, Andy?
I just like to pick my spots with 5% plays. You're mostly going to see 3%, 4% plays. I like to save the 5% plays for the really big ones and make them special.
So do me a favor, Andy, when you do have another 5% play, please text me or email me. We will promote the crap out of it, because when you only have 7 in a calendar year, they are clearly special plays. Man, I can't thank you enough for joining us. Guys, check out Prop It Up. Tell us quickly about Prop It Up. Andrew McGinnis, you, and Matt Joseph, right? About an hour long?
Yeah, hour long. Me and Andrew are going to be doing the show today at 4:00. I already have an NFL package up at WagerTalk.com with a play. So if you guys want to go and get the package, what happens is as the props come out, the package will be updated throughout the weekend, including all the way through Monday Night Football. So you're just going to get constant updates with props. Prop It Up is 4:00 every Friday. The community in the prop world is amazing. On Thanksgiving, we did a 10:00 Eastern show, and I went in early to make sure all the settings were right. And at 8:30, we had 5 people in there waiting, and we just started talking props. So it's been an honor and a pleasure. And, you make a little money along the way, so that's never a bad thing.
Awesome stuff, man. Andy Lang, everybody, WagerTalk.com. Let's take a quick break. We are right back with Teddy's Bad Beats, Bad for the Books, and another couple of B's. And Chris Andrews, I'm so pumped to talk to him. Andy, thanks again. Guys, 20 seconds, and we'll be right back.
It's not a secret how much free quality information WagerTalk Sports Memo and the Gold Sheet produce. And next up, we're giving out the WagerTalk College Basketball Guide. This might be the most informative collection of sports betting info we've ever produced. We're covering returning starters, offensive, defensive, and tempo rankings, recruiting rankings, head coaching info and background, and so much more. Even if you are the casual basketball fan, head over to the Ralph Michaels page and download this amazing guide for free.
It is time for Bad Beats, Bad Bets, and Bad for the Books. A little recap of what happened in the sports betting world last night. Look, you're going to find bad beats every night in college hoops. Let's call this one a tough beat. Cal plus 7.5. They lost by 8 to Arizona State. They had 62 with a minute 54 to play. And then it goes like this. Miss, offensive rebound, turnover, another turnover. Play defense, don't foul. That's exactly what you want. You're down 6, they don't foul. There's 15 seconds left. They missed the 3, and then they foul. And what happens? Arizona State hits them both. They turn the ball over on their final possession. They lose 70-62. They led by 8 for about 30 seconds, the 11-minute mark of the second half. And then for the last 15 seconds of the game, tough beat if you took the points with the Bears. Bad bet last night. Look, they were betting BC against Florida. Plus 7 down to plus 5.5. Gators blew them out 90-70 final. BC, a wrong side loser. That's certainly a bad bet. And bad for books. Well, I don't know if there was a good result in either game in college football last night. Tons of Air Force money. Air Force minus 10.5. Bet up to minus 13.5. They rolled Utah State 35-7. There was Louisiana Tech money on game day. I bet them plus 1.5 on Wednesday night. They closed minus 1.5. One going away. 42-31. North Texas did not play much defense last night. The UConn USC total, national TV game, that total got steamed down 143.5 all the way down to 137, 61-58 final. Sharp money cashed in on that, and there was lots of Husky sharp money too. The Trojans and the Huskies result, not a great result for the books. There you have it. Bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. Back to you, Prez.
Wow, thank you, Teddy Covers. And I was on Arizona State. Watched the ending of that game. I can't watch an entire basketball game. So much of the beginning ends up just being meaningless. But I was on that game, and I chalked up a W. And most importantly, Teddy, I forgot to change my track pants. So I was wearing the unlucky track pants, and I still won a game. So I'm thrilled. Guys, thank you all for joining us. Wager Talk Today, 12 to 1 Eastern, every day, Monday to Friday. Birdie, Love Avenue, Smiling Faces, Davy Jones, Robert Kahn, Darren Cool, nice and active in the chat room. Love it. Trance wants to know when we're going to announce him as the next Wager Talk handicapper, before or after Christmas. That's after Christmas, Trance. Big Daddy, nice to have you with us. Guys, please hit that like button. 230 of you watching, 71 likes. Lots more of you have not hit that like button. Please do. Teddy, why are you smiling, baby? Talk to me.
Because it makes me laugh as you beg for likes, dude. You got to do it. I understand. We got to beg for likes and comments. You know what? But it just makes me laugh when you do it.
Well, you know what, Teddy? Starting next week, you're going to be the one begging for the likes. Give it a go.
That's not my job. That's your job.
Try it, Teddy. Try it.
Please, 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 please like us.
That was good stuff. Joe had a little bit more notice. We would have put an image up for that. That was great, man. Anyway, Teddy, let's get on with it, man. We've been talking all week about Chris Andrews coming onto the show, race and sports book director at South Point, which is really one of the leading sports books in Vegas, a hub, if you will. We are honored to have Chris with us. Hello, Chris Andrews. Welcome to Wager Talk Today. And if Teddy and I do bother you, it's Teddy's fault.
It's a pleasure being on with you guys. Thanks for inviting me.
Guys, Chris Andrews, we got to go through your background really quick, and Teddy's going to talk a little bit about your book, which, first and foremost, the fact that you took the time to write a book is the most impressive part, because I have tried. I have made it past page 7. So I just give me how do you motivate yourself to write a book?
You know, once you start writing, you kind of get the bug, and I'm writing another one right now, and it's just a commitment to write every day. You have your thoughts in your head and you just put them down on paper. I think all of us have those kind of thoughts, but it takes some discipline, and I developed that. Like I said, once you get the bug and you start sitting down and doing it, and then on days when I don't do it, I feel like a little bit empty. So it's, I guess it's habitual, but a good habit, because we all have, I know we all have some bad habits too, but it's a good habit. At least for me, it was.
Yeah, well, I can't wait for that bug to hit. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I was very fortunate. For people in this business, I was raised in a house with my uncle, who was one of the the sharpest handicappers ever. Came to Las Vegas, was a legend here in Las Vegas. It's Jack Franzi. A lot of guys know him as Pittsburgh Jack. And I was raised with him, and he moved out to Las Vegas when I was 14. And I was still living in Pittsburgh, but we'd fly out every, holidays and summers and things like that. And he would bring me to lunch, and I was having lunch with guys like, Bob Martin. A lot of young kids today don't recognize these names, but like Bob Martin, Bobby the Tower Brent, Joe Snyder, Bob Black. These were, Jackie Gone, people that made this industry what it was today. And I was smart enough to just keep my mouth shut and listen. And that helped me get into the career that I'm in now. And it's been a very good life for me. I can tell you that.
So let's talk about the book. And I got it right here. Here, let's get it up to the camera. Then one day.
Thanks.
And it is an excellent read. It really is. It's a page turner. It's not something that you got to sit down and focus and read in one session. You can read a story before you go to sleep at night. But I have to ask you before we start getting into games, and I've been meaning to ask you this for a long time, since I read the book, frankly. Is that really the Bushes?
No. And that's my fault. I meant it as a joke. And a lot of people have taken it seriously. Let me say this, Teddy. I don't think it was the Bushes. Nobody knew who they were at that time, but it was a family like that. But I don't think it was the Bush. It's not. I'm going to go on record and say that wasn't the Bushes. I would have probably that.
Because that changed my whole opinion of the entire Bush era. Was reading your take, but if it was a joke, you got to let people know that, man. I didn't know.
Well, I thought I kind of did, but it is. The best jokes are like kind of believable, right?
Sure.
Is that kind of believable?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was one of those.
That sounds totally believable.
My jaw dropped at the end of the chapter. So anyhow, we're talking about chapter 11 or chapter 13, whatever it is. It's a good book. Get it on Amazon. Enough said.
Yeah. Excellent stuff, Chris, and congrats on your wonderful career. Now we're getting to the best part of the show. We're always looking for actionable information, and we're going to throw games at you, man. We're going to start in the NFL. We're just going to mention some games. Hopefully you can tell us, where the money is in these games, where the line might be going, and if you like anything particular to bet. And we're going to start with the Colts and the Texans. I hand it to you.
Well, all the money's on the Colts. The sharp guys laid the price. Let me get back to over here. We opened the game 2.5. They laid the 2.5 quickly. I went to 3. I thought that would slow them down a little bit. It did not. And like I said, the first guys that jumped in laid the 2.5. But even I got a lot of sharp money -3. I'm at 3.5 right now. I got to tell you, and I'm not just saying it because we have money that way, but I like the Texans. I think right now you have a team that's playing a little bit better ball, but you look at who they beat, not that impressive. But the Colts, just Phillip Rivers scares me. I don't know if I'm going to get Hall of Fame Phillip Rivers on Sunday, or if I'm going to get Phillip Rivers, who blew countless games for the Chargers over the last decade or so. And that's what always scares me about the Colts. But the thing about the Colts, I think they have a very good 53-man lineup, much better than the Texans, certainly. But this is a good division rivalry. I think 3.5 to me, I would take it before I would lay it, certainly. But so far, I have no takers on the Texans. I'm looking at my chart. I got, a straggling couple $100 here and there. That's all I have. So obviously, so far, not too many guys with big money are sharing my opinion. I can tell you that.
Well, for what it's worth, I'm going to break down that game later in the show, and I too will be making an opinion towards Houston plus the points. Of course, we're talking now with Chris Andrews, veteran bookmaker. He's been doing this for the past 40 plus years, both here in Las Vegas and up north in Reno, breaking down the NFL for Sunday. Let's talk Saints and the Falcons. Looks like there's a fair bit of sharp money coming for the home dog in this one, even though the point spread is the same here as it was in New Orleans a couple of weeks back when the Saints were 3-point home favorites.
Well, we opened this game 3.5. They took that pretty quickly. We went to 3, and they pounded me plus the 3. And even I allow guys to buy. You could buy up to you could buy on and off 3 for $1.30, and I had a lot of guys buying it back up to 3.5 on the plus. Now, since we have gone at 2.5, I am seeing wise guy money back on the Falcons minus the 2.5. And I think if you look a little more closely at the game, Taysom Hill certainly is a story for the Saints. Now, how do you evaluate him? He had a very good first game. And then this last game against Denver, they kind of sleptwalked through the game, but I don't think he was very impressive. I didn't like the way he looked, really. And I think Taysom Hill's the kind of guy, he's going to be that good option to bring in and change up your offense and rattle the defense maybe a little bit. I never saw him as a starting quarterback in the NFL. I have no real opinion in this game. This one, I have nothing at all. I'm just going to let the money kind of move me. And the Falcons, they've definitely shown improvement under Raheem Morris, but the Saints, and it's hard to judge. Last week, their defense played against a guy had no business being anywhere near an NFL stadium unless he bought a ticket, and that was the quarterback. But the Saints defense is pretty good, and I think they're a very legitimate threat to go to the Super Bowl if Drew Brees comes back healthy. Without Brees, I don't see it. But like I said, I have no real interest in this game. Sharp money so far has been on the Falcons, but I am starting to see some -2.5. I don't want to say a name, but one of my most respected handicappers came in and laid the 2.5 yesterday. I didn't move it. I'm still at 2.5 because I got a lot of money at the +3 and 3.5. But a guy that I highly respect did lay the 2.5.
Chris, this is just awesome information. Love this segment. Another game that is fascinating, Browns and Titans. And I mean, we've seen a bunch of money come in on the Titans early. Where are you with this game?
Well, we're at 5.5. Again, I don't have a strong opinion in this one too. And I kind of talked about Phillip Rivers. What quarterback are we getting with the Colts? So far Baker Mayfield's kind of fit in that same category. If I get good Baker, I know the Browns are going to be very formidable because that's another team I think really has a very good 53-man roster. That's a good team, and I think they're extremely well coached. But he goes coach, quarterback, and the coach I have a lot of faith in. The quarterback, I'm just not sure yet. And then the Titans, just a very solid team, and I think they're well coached. I think their quarterback is good, not great, but I think very good. And of course, I got Derrick Henry. They talked about getting him more involved in the game. That's going to be tough on any defense.
Are they going to put him at linebacker?
Again, I'm sorry.
Are they going to put him at linebacker? How do you get him more involved?
He probably could play. I'll tell you what, if they lose a quarterback, I wouldn't mind seeing him getting they run a single wing with Derrick Henry. Who's going to tackle him 60 times a game? I don't know. But I have no strong opinion on this game and no real wise guy money, significant either way.
Let's talk some of the later Sunday games. How about the Rams and the Cardinals? Two teams that have been fairly popular in the betting markets this year, and yet only one of them's taken sharp action so far this week.
Well, I'm trying to look at my chart here. I did open this game 2.5. We got bet up to 3, got bet back down to 2.5. So I would take issue with that. I've seen good, pretty smart action both ways. Again, depending on the number, and I'm looking at my ticket count. Really, ticket count's very similar, and the money pretty similar. I'm not sure. Again, when you ask where's the sharp money at what number? So everything at South Point, we do everything at 11 at 10. We don't move juice. So everything's at 11 at 10. So I had some sharp guys lay 2.5 minus a dime, and I have guys on +3 again at minus a dime. So this is a dance I have to do every week. The 2.5, 3, or 3, 3.5, and Michael Gaughan, the owner and the boss, and son of Jackie Gaughan, longtime bookmaker. And Michael always says, listen, these old bookmakers always made plenty of money, never moving the juice, just moving the number. You're going to do the same thing. That's well, okay, as long as you know. And when I do have games fall 3, Michael mostly makes fun of me more than sweating over a bad result. And I guess if I had $1 billion in the bank, I'd probably laugh about it too. That's the way Michael is. So I don't get any extra pressure when a game lands true. But that's the way he wants me to handle it. And to tell you the truth, even when I was at Calneva all those years, it wasn't under Michael Gone. I did the same thing because I think, a bookmaker, you can make money at 11 at 10. When the sharp guys come in and want to lay, come on or off the three, I take a little bit smaller limit, but that is what we do, and if you're betting at the South Point, you're going to make a straight bet, you're laying 11 at 10. Now, a game might go from 3 to 3.5 and you don't get the number you want, but you are going to lay 11 at 10 no matter what you do.
Excellent stuff, Chris. Let's go to the Sunday night football game. Broncos at Chiefs. I came out at 13. It's now at 14. Curious if you think it'll to 14.5. Where is there money coming in on the Broncos, or are the Chiefs just dominating this game?
Well, I have I think 10 tickets on the Chiefs, on the Broncos so far. So it's been all Chiefs. We opened at 13.5 as well. I thought Locke would be coming back. It looks like he probably will be for the Broncos. Again, I don't like their coach, and I haven't seen much to convince me on their quarterback, but I do like their defense. And this is a division game, and I think over the years, one thing I think that's been a little overrated is the Chiefs' home field advantage. I don't think it's nearly as big as what people think. Now, they win a lot of games, but I'm not sure how many they're going to cover. Even with Mahomes, it's a division game. They have their sights set on, probably a number 1 seed if they could just keep on winning, because I don't think the Steelers are going to win out, especially now if they're losing Bud Dupree. I think that's a big loss to their defense. So I don't see them stepping on the gas the whole way here. But we opened 13.5. It got late to us, but at 14 right now, I don't see any real sharp money coming in at the 14 either way, at minus or plus. So I don't think we're going to get to 14.5. However, the big however here, you never know. We always after the games are done on Sunday, before we get to the Sunday night game, we run all the what ifs, and you never know what you have running. And sometimes you're surprised you have nothing running to the Sunday night game, and other times you have a lot running to that Sunday night game. So if we have a ton running at minus 14, myself and some of the other guys in town may go to 14.5 with that one. So I would leave that out there. But right now, I see nothing at this point in time that would push me to 14.5.
If you're looking for quality information from a veteran bookmaker, a legendary bookmaker, you're getting it right here, right now. Just a few minutes more with Chris Andrews from the South Point Hotel and Casino. He's a sports book director there, race and sports director there, I should say. Let's talk about a couple of the marquee. What's that?
I don't do race. That's out of my jurisdiction, Teddy.
Good, yeah. Me neither. He's a sports book director over at the South Point Casino. Let's talk a couple of college football games real quick. Ohio State, Michigan State is a game that's gotten a lot of attention this week. What are you seeing at the South Point in terms of sharp and public action on the Buckeyes and the Spartans?
The Buckeyes, I'm still trying to see who's in their lineup and who's out of their lineup. I know they have kind of I don't want to call it a skeleton squad, because skeleton squad for Ohio State would still probably beat about 97% of the teams out there. Do you have a game number right there? Let me look it up real quick to see where my money is. Do you have a game number there, Tim?
355, 356.
Okay, got it. I got to tell you, I got some sharp money on Michigan State. And I think they're just trying to play. I don't want to call it the injury game, but it's Ohio State again. That's another team that has their sights set on maybe some different goals rather than just beating Michigan State. And I don't think they have to be impressive in beating Michigan State to impress the committee. I think right now Ohio State has to just make sure they get in 6 games. And if they do have a skeleton squad for this game, I can see where, maybe some of the guys, that are going to put in a lot of minutes are maybe not their top line players. And I think the coach will kind of play it that way. Michigan State has not been very impressive this year, certainly. But I am seeing some sharp money on Michigan State in this game. Let me see if I can give you a better breakdown at the exact numbers here. Takes a minute. So they're taking the 24. The 24, I'm definitely high on Michigan State. Although, I opened this game 22, knowing some of the issues they had at Ohio State. They laid me up to 24. So the numbers below 24 definitely had some sharp money on that. But now at the 24, I'm definitely seeing money coming in on the underdog. Again, for whatever their handicapping reason. And I can see where I think the 24 is just a little shade high in this game. So I can see a little bit of the value on the dog if you get to that 24.
Chris, one more game. 343, 344. Clemson, Virginia Tech. What's happening over at the South Point in that game?
Well, yeah, let me get that three. Again, the first jump was on Clemson, but nothing too strong. I opened the game 22. I got enough to get me to 22.5. So usually if I get like one of the real sharp guys lays me to 22, I'll go right to 23. I'm not going to mess around with half points in that spot. But I only went to 22.5. So is it money? Yeah, it's money. And it means something. But I'm getting some money on Virginia Tech too. And certainly all the little stuff's going to be on Clemson. But we know that going into the week. You don't need me to tell you that. So all the little stuff's on Clemson. But I didn't feel I got enough to get me up to the 23 with that bet. So I'm at 22.5. And Clemson's another team. I mean, they got their sights set on maybe some bigger issues than just blowing out Virginia Tech. And they certainly have the ability to do that. But Virginia Tech, it looks like the handicappers are thinking that they're going to hang in there with this one.
Chris Andrews, everybody, sportsbook director at the South Point. One of the leading sports books in Las Vegas. Chris, anything at all to promote?
Well, we promoted the book, which I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But on the behalf of the South Point, there's one of the things I want to say, and I mentioned it on this, we do everything at -110. And that's, that's been a big thing for us where the public comes in, they know, what they could get and what to expect. And other than that, we have good parlay cards. We have teaser prices that are available to everybody. They're among the best in town. And I just think we do a lot of things right over at the South Point, and we usually have a couple props. Matter of fact, I'm working on one right now. I'll tell you what. I'll give it to you guys first. How's that sound?
Please.
I got the Chiefs, the Bills, the Saints, and the Packers versus the field to win the Super Bowl. Those four are -160.
Put me down for I'll take them, not the field. Chris Andrews, everybody, awesome stuff.
Too.
Chris,
I would too at that number. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put
Teddy and I down for
you better send the beard over pretty quick over to the South Point. No, it'll be up. Well, and we'll take a whack on it. I think it's a good price. I think it's a good prop.
Yeah, and it's a fun bet. I love it. It's an interesting take on the futures market. Chris, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I am, and I do mean it. I just said don't mean to be kind. We need you on every week. If Fridays aren't the best, we will build it around you. Any chance we can have you on as a regular guest?
I don't mind doing it. This time isn't necessarily the greatest for me, but I can tell you that. But get in touch with me. Let's see what we can work out. Because I have a lot of commitments. And listen, I don't know, Lawrence, I don't know you that well. We had dinner together 5 years ago, something like that. Teddy, I know a little bit. Teddy, I have a lot of respect for your work. I know, and a lot of guys over there. Johnny Detroit, in spite of himself, is one of my favorite human beings.
Well said.
Tell him that too.
Well said.
And a lot of guys over there that I know do some good work. Ralph, I know a little bit. Marco, I know pretty good. I don't want to run down through your whole lineup, but a lot of you guys over there, I think do a good job. Kelly and I had some problems over the years, but we have become good friends. So I really, I enjoy her friendship. I'm glad we've made friends after this time. So you have a lot of good people over there. So, I don't mind working with you. We have to work something out because I got a lot of commitments, unfortunately.
Well, fortunately, it's always good to be busy. Make sure to save some time for that second book. Chris, Teddy will email you, figure out how to work around your schedule. We cannot thank you enough. That was just a world-class segment. Now we got to say goodbye. We got to take a quick break. Teddy's big game breakdown. Ralph Michaels still to come. Chris, it was a pleasure.
My pleasure, too. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
It's not a secret how much free quality information WagerTalk Sports Memo and the Gold Sheet produce. And next up, we're giving out the WagerTalk College Basketball Guide. This might be the most informative collection of sports betting info we've ever produced. We're covering returning starters, offensive, defensive, and tempo rankings, recruiting rankings, head coaching info and background, and so much more. Even if you are the casual basketball fan, head over to the Ralph Michaels page and download this amazing guide for free.
It's time for today's big game breakdown. We're going to talk the Texans and the Colts Sunday NFL. I do want to reference yesterday where I talked about where I find my information, how I find my information. I gave you a quote that was all about first half under in the Louisiana Tech game. And of course, it ended up being dead wrong. You know, the North Texas offense moved the football up and down the field. The Louisiana Tech offense moved the football up and down the field. And the info, good info, wrong result. Happens all the time. All right. Doesn't happen more often than the info works out being good, but it's not a rarity that you find an info, you find some info, or you find a quote, and you misinterpret it, or you get it wrong. That's going to happen. Okay. That's why we judge how we do over the length of time. And this is one over the length of an NFL season that I want to talk about, the Texans and the Colts. You know, that's the process. Don't panic. You know, sometimes info doesn't pan out. The process is what we want to make sure is working the way it's supposed to. And I think information-wise, even though it didn't pan out yesterday, the information was solid. That said, when you talk about the entirety of the season, here's a Colts team that everybody was in love with. Shouldn't tell you everyone. The wise guys have been in love with because their defensive numbers were monstrous. You know, ranked in the top 3 in basically every key defensive category. Then last week they didn't have DeForest Buckner. And all of a sudden the defense had allowed 3.1 yards per carry, gave up 5.6 yards per carry. Now Buckner is supposed to be back this week. But Indy's injury problems are not just DeForest Buckner. 5 starters missed practice yesterday, including both offensive tackles and underrated defenders. Bobby Okerere, the safety, Kari Willis. Phillip Rivers is nursing a bad toe. And without healthy tackles, I don't want Rivers laying points on the road against J.J. Watt and company and the Texans pass rush. You know, Will Fuller, impact loss for the Texans. No question. That's factored into this point spread. Deshaun Watson is the QB I want my money on in this range. And it's a Texans team that has played, you know, what do they have? 3 consecutive covers. And they've already faced the Chiefs and the Steelers and the Packers and the Ravens when they were good and the Titans and the Browns. They're as battle-tested as it gets. I think they hang tough. If Indy wins this game at all, I don't think it's going to come easy. I like the Texans plus the 3.5 in the NFL on Sunday. There you have it, Prez. Back to you. Let's get Ralph in so the pen can share his knowledge.
Look at you, Teddy, segueing straight to Ralph. I should quit. Guys, everybody, thank you for being here. We got a little bit more to go. The pen's coming up. The show will be archived throughout the weekend. Anybody listening, please hit that thumbs up button and please leave a comment. Ralph Michaels joining us. I'm excited about this guy. I hear, Ralph, that you are a trend machine.
You know, Chris Andrews, I don't mind running late for Chris Andrews. What a guy. You guys, that only laying 110 is so important. If you live in Vegas and you don't have a South Point app where you can lay with 110 instead of 115 or 120, I'm going to just say this. You are stupid. You save yourself that percent by just having an account at the South Point. Chris Andrews does a great job. Teddy, I'm going to give a quick bonus angle. You liked the Houston Texans. Remember our momentum angle off a straight up win and cover against a team off a straight up loss and non-cover, and between the threes, Houston falls in that category, 73.6% against the spread. My real angle for today, the Browns are 1-10 ATS on the road, and from game 4 on, why do we use game 4 on? Because we're talking about win percentages of 70% or higher, so you get a legitimate winning team. So when both teams have a win percentage of 70% or higher, and the home team is off a win as a dog, like Tennessee is, those teams have gone 26-10, 72.2%. So that angle, again, applies to Tennessee. The first one I gave you applies to the Houston Texans off a straight-up winning cover against a team off an ATS loss and a straight-up loss.
Yeah, I mean, the Browns showed us last week again, for as good as they are, the level of execution needed to cover numbers in the road hasn't been there. That's a great angle when you're talking about 26-10-1 ATS. How far back does that go, Ralph?
That's 2014.
Yeah. And I love the stuff I'm much less interested in stuff from 1993 and 1998 than I am the stuff that's been working the last 5 years. Obviously, this is one that says Cleveland may not be the right side.
And again, I often go back to 2015 as the starting point because that's when the extra points got moved back and the game did change because of it. Now, the situational play of the day, guys, is probably one of my favorite angles. It really doesn't apply to this season because of the COVID and the schedule, but I want you to realize the concept of it, why it's successful. In college football, every team comes into the season thinking they can win. Every college football team thinks they can win 6 teams and go to a bowl. In college football, when you get your 7th loss and you're off a loss and now you're a home dog of 8 or more, so you're the worst team, you are now deflated. You officially have a losing season. You are officially not going to a bowl. Those teams only 30.6% against the spread. That does apply to Duke this year. Again, a little different season, but something to think about next year, something to always remember. When your goals are shattered in college football, be it your national championship goals or be it getting to a bowl by just making sure you have 6 wins, it is a deflating game that next game. When you're a home dog and a team is much better than you, you see the results there, 30.6% against the spread.
Awesome stuff. Let's talk Ralph Michaels. Go ahead, Teddy.
I was just going to throw it to you, Lawrence, because it's time for Friends of Ralph play, and I believe you're giving the Friends of Ralph play today, right?
I am. I wonder why Joe is laughing in our ear, but yeah, dude.
Every Friday.
I'm just going to let Joe have his moment in my ear. You know what, Teddy? We spoke about this yesterday. I love hearing Joe's cackle in my ear. I actually mean that sincerely. Friends with Ralph, it's firstly a privilege to be your friend, Ralph. I am going to play Green Bay and Philadelphia over the total. This is a play I'm releasing to my clients. And Ralph, the bottom line here is Philly, look, they look anemic at times. Offensively, you watch them, they are struggling. Their O-line is a disaster. But lo and behold, they've put up 17 points or more in every single game this season, and some against better defenses than this Green Bay team. I think I can count on Philly putting up between 20 and 24. Defensively, they've held a brutal Dallas team to 9 points. Every other game this year, 21 points or more scored on them, and that's not playing against Green Bay. Green Bay, you take out Tampa Bay, this team has scored 20 points in every game but one. 8 out of 11 games, they've put up 30 or more. We saw them put up 40 last week against the Bears. They have a better defense than Philly. I feel I can count on Green Bay putting up 31 points. And even if Philly only gets their 17, I still think this game will go over the total. And as well, The back door will be wide open for us. Philly at least can move the ball against a prevent defense. And the weather will be fine. It'll be cold as shit, but it doesn't look like it's going to be windy. And lastly, Philly's real weakness right now offensively is that O-line. They match up well against Green Bay. Green Bay just doesn't live inside of anybody's backfield. Anyway, that's it. That's my play over the total in Green Bay and Philadelphia, Ralph.
Appreciate it, Prez, and you deserve the Friends of Ralph title today. Nice analysis.
Excellent stuff, guys. What a freaking show. Shout out to Joe Ranieri, as always, for keeping us honest and the show moving all week. Teddy, you as well. I know it's the weekend. You get to stay in your new house, so enjoy that, my friend. Chris Andrews for coming on. Andy Lang was sensational. You guys in the chat room, I love hanging out with you while Teddy talks. Other than that, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. And Teddy, take us home.
All we got to say is enjoy the games. Good luck. We'll be back right here on Wager Talk Today, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time on Monday morning. Good luck this weekend.
Some companies have a Cyber Monday sale, but here at Wager Talk and Sports Memo, we have a Cyber Week sale. With our Cyber Week special, you can spend less than $100 per month for the next 6 months, and you will get every play your favorite handicapper releases. Let's suppose you already signed up for a subscription. In that case, this will add an additional 180 days and extend any current package you have. No one deserves a gift more than you, so why not treat yourself to the best gift of all and get 1, 2, or even 3 cappers for only $599 each. This offer expires Sunday, December the 6th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time.